Yes.
And that is a role of Parliament. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, the issue is, whenever the executive comes with its spending plan, and it could be a wish list, is Parliament's role simply to rubber stamp that?
We cannot.
That State House can double its budget and you simply say yes? That's the question we're asking.
Let me tell you, we cannot spend what we don't have. If you know the procurement rules of this country, you have to have a budget before you can go and procure. So they're very open. They're saying, look, these are the plans that we have to do. This is the shortfall that we have. This is what we're going to collect with taxes. But if we spur up the economy, we might find that we might even collect it just through tax. I like what the president did with the housing levy. Everybody was against it. But then it was innovative. Let's find some money. I like what he's done with SHA. Let's peg the deductions to how much you're earning. I mean, I pay about over 30,000 for SHA. So I'm helping those who cannot pay. So I want to come back to what we were talking about in terms of the software for SHA. So if you have a private medical cover and you go to a hospital, it's biometric. SHA, this software of 100 billion is over a 10-year period. I don't know why we don't want to hear what is going on. It's over a 10-year period, so 10 billion every year for the software. But do you know how much we're going to save? We are going to save over 20 billion in fraud. Because now you cannot go to a hospital and they say Passaris was here, we operated her. You know, the auditor report said that there was a woman who had cesarean section over 5 times. So now you cannot do that, because for you to be treated, for you to get medication, for you to be operated, you have to present your finger. So your biometric. So Esther can only go there. So this system of 10 billion every year for the software is going to save us, right? And well, we were losing 20 billion, right? But probably now we'll be losing 30 billion. But with the 10 billion, we're still going to have a saving. So you see, these systems are put in place. You have to make these expenses so that you can actually improve the systems. And I think one of the things that we don't appreciate, or Kenyans don't appreciate, is how William Samoei Ruto is fighting corruption in his own strategic way. By putting this software, you will bang him and shout at him and say, oh, he's spending 10 billion, 100 billion. You know, when you say 100 billion, oh, software, he's given it to his friend, he's given it to somebody that they're making money. But at the end of the day, if you look at Susan Nyankumicha, when she was in the Ministry of Health, she actually flagged NHIF and said we were losing 20 billion annually on fraudulent claims. So for me, I think in the end, you know, time always has all the answers. We had the housing tax. Are we not seeing the houses? We've created over 700,000-800,000 jobs with housing. So as he just said, you know, education, we've put in a lot of money for education. So we're going to be able to fund health properly. We're going to be able to hire the teachers and pay the teachers. We're going to be able to take on the interns who are also asking for a pay. So, you know, everybody has to realize that it's a balancing act. For me, I think we need to obviously reduce the fiscal space, and we're working towards that. We're trying to make sagas and government entities to become more efficient. We had a few of them that came in, and we realized when they don't pay debts that they're supposed to be paid.
This is an active discussion.
Yes, yeah, we had this discussion just last week with two in Public Investment Committee, with two bodies that came to see us. It's in the Hansard, and we told them very clearly, you're not paying your debt. Government has to order. You're widening the fiscal. You're reducing the fiscal space, so we can't do other things. If we just manage our sagas in terms of oversight, for them to be able to do what they're supposed to do, to cover their own debt and not wait for a treasury to pay their debt, because we have to honor our debt. If we have a debt with African Development Bank, we have to honor it. Okay. So I think what I want to say is that, you know, when Uhuru Kenyatta was in State House, when he was the president, he was once asked, how can you handle corruption? And he said, it's a big elephant. No can do. But William Samoei Ruto is handling it through projects. Kenya is a construction site. I was in Mombasa recently.
Corruption is being handled through projects?
Through projects. You know what?
Which projects?
All the projects, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's housing, whether it's software for SHA. Because you are seeing where the money is going. Before, you were still spending the money, losing the money, but you couldn't see where it's going. Now the question is, we're seeing where the money is. There's medicines in hospitals, all right? There are beds being increased. There's classrooms being built. Nairobi has over 1 1 billion shillings in additional classrooms. Our children were not having classrooms. I mean, we're decongesting classrooms. So what I want to say is that's one way of dealing with corruption. Do the projects. Put the money so people can see the projects. When you look at all the housing projects, you cannot say that the 170 or 80 billion that we're collecting in the levy or we've budgeted for is lost. You're seeing the housing. All right. When you look at the schools, you're seeing the classrooms. I mean, I want to say that there are many ways to skin a cat. And here's one way. But we still have a problem with corruption in the sense that the various institutions that are still not well managed, right, are still having areas where they're siphoning. Okay. But I tell you one thing, this country is in a better space economically than it's ever been since independence.
The biggest problem we have